Good morning. It's Lisa Smith, Kindred Stitcher. Welcome to my channel. This is a channel about cross stitch and all things related to needlework. Although really in today's world, I'm cross stitching all the time, obsessively. It's summer and I just want to cross stitch. Let's see, since the last time I talked with you, a few things happened. We had the 4th of July and Todd and I really just worked around the outside of our home. We live in the country in Oregon, and we live in this one room in the shop, and our tiny house has a kitchen area and the bathroom and my workstation for work. And then my husband's building us a house. So if you hear banging in the background, it's him working, even though it's Saturday, because he's amazing. So we worked around picking up some insulation. We had a bunch of insulation given to us that my husband took up to our cabin up by the Canadian border. He and a friend went up there for a few days and did some work on the cabin, which then I was able to clean out metal and wood that we had accumulated during construction and just really weed eat and clean up that area. It was fantastic. The next day we had a barbecue, a summer barbecue with friends and family. Enjoyed that. We had 3 of our kids home for that. And what else? I went to something that Sunday. I can't remember what it was. Was that what? I think I went and stitched with Audrey. Yeah, Stitchy Witch 42. I went to Audrey's house and we had a stitching afternoon and I just enjoyed each other's company. I got to meet her husband and he showed me his Jeep, his world-renowned Jeep that he is known for. And what a delight. It was so much fun to hang out with them. And Audrey is such an accommodating hostess. So it was awesome to see her. Then last weekend, Todd and I went to Crater Lake, which is in south, kind of eastern-ish Oregon. And we went with some friends of ours who are not from the US, and this is their first time really having gone out and explored the United States. So we are so blessed to live. If you live in the US, we're so blessed to live in a country that is gorgeous. And the United States, or the Crater Lake, is incredible. When we came around the corner and we looked to see the lake and we got out of our cars, they just gasped at how gorgeous it was. It was Mount Mazama, which imploded and created this big crater, and then lava came up and created a cone within the crater, which was a lake, so that's the name of Crater Lake. And we tooled around, went up and down the trail, went a good part of the way around the rim of the lake. It was shut, the road shut down in one spot for construction. We went to the lodge and had a nice little refreshing beverage on the veranda overlooking the lake. It was just amazing. And then that night, or that afternoon, late afternoon, we went to Diamond Lake, which is sort of northwest. And it's a fun little, I would say it's a resort area on a lake that's been around for probably since the 50s. There's like these motel rooms that you can rent. There's cabins, there's camping. Some people own cabins on the other side of the lake, but they only own the structure. I want to say the U.S. Forestry owns the land, but most of those are just handed down within families because it's such a treasured piece of land. So we stayed there and we just had a great time visiting with them. Came back and rested the next day, and then I've just been working. So I was moved to a new area to help out with an area that needed some assistance, and I have a different team, but they're fantastic and my peers are great, and it's a super, super great place to work. So that is what's going on in my personal life. Oh, hold on. Building updates. So somebody asked me if I could show updates on the house. You're going to see, if I showed you pictures, they're the same as the last time. And the reason why I say that is because my husband's really been doing electrical and HVAC. So it's not going to look that, I mean, you're going to look at it and go, meh, it's the same. And so we had our framing inspection last week, and Todd did a great job. Like HVAC, good. Electrical, a couple of small minor things. Framing, he had to do a couple things, and he didn't do the framing on the house, so he had to come in and do a few other things. But really, for somebody who's building a house for the first time, and he's building this house, like we should have picked a less complex house. I should have picked a different design, but I didn't know. You know, we're all novices in this, but he's just doing a fantastic job. He's got a couple things he's doing, and then he'll have it re-inspected next week. And then once that passes, we'll get insulation and sheetrock. And he's working on siding. The siding's been delivered. So praise God, things are moving along again. So, you know, we just are thankful for the opportunity to do what we're doing. Now, so I have been stitching, and I have been obsessively stitching on my Patriotic pieces. Now, I also have been pulled definitely to work on my samplers, and maybe I'm getting the urge to work on some fall stuff too. Flosstube kills me. It just is a derailer. I've got a plan, and then boop, I'm going in a different direction. So let me show you the things that I've been working on. Oh, by the way, I watched Lori Holt's video this morning. She has like 6 million finishes. I mean, she just pulled one. It's like a lifetime of stitching, and she's framed a bunch of stuff, and she's stitched a bunch of stuff, finishes that are things that we haven't seen before, or maybe have, when she showed them last time, they were barely started. She's amazing. Go watch her video. It'll knock your socks off. So I had this as a start the last time we chatted, and I love all of these stockings. I love them all. I think in my lifetime, I'm probably not going to stitch them all, but I love them all. I have quite a few of them. This one just, oh, it's an amazing pattern. And so I had, if you remember, if you watched the last video, I bought some Seraphim fabric called Boston. I bought it at Country Sampler when we were there in May. And then I bought the silks from Acorns and Threads. And I have an order coming from Shepherd's Bush. There's a couple of silken colors that they didn't have them at Acorns and Threads, and Shepherd's Bush wasn't sure if they had them. I said, if you have them, stick them in my order. I'm waiting for an order to come today. And if they don't have them, I might just go with the NPI. But anyway, here it is. I can't tell you how much I loved stitching on this. And quite frankly, I would have just kept going if I didn't have some other things to work on that I really wanted to get to. So really, I've got this whole top section, and then I'm working on this middle section. And this is really just fill in. You know, it's a lot of blocks of color. And once I get down to here, it's like half done already. It goes super fast, very interesting. Look at those swans. I'm really pleased with this fabric choice. The swans and everything that's white just pops off beautifully. And look at that sun. It's just awesome. What a great design. I enjoyed working on this. And look at this fabric. Gorgy fabric. Oh, I'll tell you about something. I'll tell you about some haul in a minute. I'm looking at it to my right, and I'll show it to you when I get to the haul section of my video. Then I also worked on, let's see, what's the next one? This isn't in the order that I worked on things, because this is the most recent thing I worked on. This is Summer at Cherry Hill. I have seen several people stitch this. It was a 2020 start, I think, when I did Stitch Mania, and I just basically had, I want to say this beehive was done, and yeah, it was done, and it was really light, and it blended into the grass. And so I have all the colors that Brenda calls for in this pattern, but I didn't use them in the same place that she did. I changed some things, and in fact, I started stitching this grass. Whatever I picked was not stripy like what she has, and I was thinking about outlining the beehive, but I just took the dark color out of the beehive and completely changed the color, and I love it. So I'll show you that in a minute. But I had started the grass, I had some letters done, and I think I want to say that's maybe all of it where I was. Now you're going to laugh, because I did put some fabric on either side of this so I could put it in my Q-snap, but I sewed it backwards. So my seam is on top instead of on bottom. This is so much fun to stitch. So I went across and boxed this in, and kind of the fill-in things, the little bees are adorable. The wings, I changed the color to white They should pop pretty good in this grass once I fill the grass in, but there are bees over here, and I might go with B5200 for those bees because this fabric, I don't know what this is. It looks like Legacy maybe. I'm not sure. And so I worked my way across and started up, and I stitched this girl, and she is adorable. And she called for cayenne, which was what I used, the red for the skirt. It's fantastic. What I was thinking when I was stitching her is, if you just stitched it and evened out her dress, wouldn't that be an adorable pincushion? Or stand up. Yes, I would stitch her again. This tree calls for apple cider. My apple cider is lighter than this. I'm using a Gentle Arts limited edition one that it was a great brown, by the way. But so I'm stitching this vertically. I think on her pattern she stitched it across, but I'm stitching it vertically. And oh, you can see how the beehive really pops out now. I just love the way it looks. And this color is mossy. It's fantastic for the leaves. So Summer at Cherry Hill, super satisfying. I'm going to keep working on her. I feel like I've got several projects that are on the cusp of being finished. All right, so this is actually the one that I worked on after the last video. Marjorie Massey, Quaker Street. Again, every time I had to change, I was so sad to change because I really wanted to keep working on the project that I was working on. But it makes it fun because now I'm super looking forward to getting back to this one. All right, so what did I do? I finished this big, huge house. And, you know, you're stitching in relief, so you have to pay attention because if you overstitch, it's going to look weird. And this is a pretty symmetrical pattern, so it would be difficult to fudge it if it was a complete, like if you had a mistake in there. I was obsessed. I want to get this done, and I really wanted to get the year in there. So this is obviously it says 2025. The chart is 2013. That's how old the chart is. And inside the chart, I think she had the years 2016 and 17. Well, there's no 5 in there, so I had to come up with a 5. And what I did is I took the 2, I took a picture, I inverted it and mirrored it so that it turned it this way and then this way. And then I kind of sculpted the 5 from that. So it looks pretty good. It's maybe not perfect, but it looks, I like it just fine. So now I have one house and the Quakers above that, and then I'll be done. And I'm hoping to take this one to Rental Studios in October when I go to the Stitch West retreat. Stitch West, it's about 10, I want to say it's maybe, it might be 12 hours. It's drivable. It's just a really long day. My husband's like, are you going to fly? I'm like, nope, I'm driving. That way I don't have to pay for a rental car there. And it's not a bad drive. It's just, some of it's pretty flat, but it's easy driving. So, and then you get to Idaho and you can go 80 miles an hour, which is kind of scary, if I'm going to be honest with you. But no, I don't worry about getting a speeding ticket because I wouldn't go higher than 80. All right, I started this one. This is Sweet Liberty Sampler. Now, this is part of my Patriotic, 25 Patriotic for $250, meaning I'm going to stitch 25 patterns over the course of 4th of July to 4th of July next year for our, I don't know the word. I thought it's like something centennial. It's 250 years. And so this is Lori Rippey from Homespun Prims by Lori, and it's the Sweet Liberty Sampler. So I started this on Eggnog by Kitten Stitcher, called for threads. I was going to start and thought I started on the lower left, which is where I usually start. Again, I stitched two-handed on an 11 by 17 Q-snap on a lap stand. The lap stand is no longer being made, but a similar lap stand was covered by Vonna Pfeiffer on one of her later videos. And so I started stitching on this, and I was going to stitch the border and start stitching the motifs in here, but I would go down the border and then this is longer than this. And I kept making mistakes. Like I would do this and I would make this longer and I'd have to backtrack. So I just decided to stitch the whole border because you really had to pay attention. It's all repetitive, like it's the same number, but for some reason I think I stitched one of these 4 instead of 3. I thought, oh, that would have been a disaster. And I caught myself. So I just did the whole thing. I'm like, I'm just going to get that done. And then I don't have to worry about making sure that it's correct. And it did match up and I was super happy, but I was very diligent. Like I took my time to make sure as I went that I was counting and that it was accurate. So I went ahead and put some of the alphabet at the top in so I would remember which is the top. I don't know that it really matters. I think that it's probably the same top and bottom. So if I had it switched around, it'd be okay. I just didn't want to have to worry about it. You can see these are the alphabets, and the flowers around the side are really pretty. So I think I'm pretty much using the called for threads on that one. I might substitute the blue, but I don't remember. I was so really focused on getting that border done that I didn't worry about the color palette at that time. So now those are all the projects that I worked on. I did have some time. I went to my favorite antique mall in Albany. It's called Albany Antiques. And Albany is about 20 minutes from where I live. It's a 2-story, it's like an old department store, like an old JCPenney's. And it takes like a city block, so it's big. And there are a couple of vendors, so it's got rows with like little, it's almost like a mall, like a vendor mall, right? And so I was tooling around, and I got to the very last booth in the back corner, and I saw something that made me stop in my tracks. And it was a spool cabinet. I decided to make an offer, and the gal at the front called the guy, and he countered, and I'm like, I really can't spend that, without consulting with my husband. So I went home, I thought about it. The next day I'm like, I really love this one. He's so funny. He goes, you think you're never going to see these again, but they still manage to pop up in antique malls and Facebook Marketplace. I'm like, I know, but I really like this one. So this is the spool cabinet that I bought. It says Brainerd and Armstrong Star Embroidery, best in the world. So it's got, the drawers are beautiful. And I wonder if this has maybe been refinished. I'm not sure, but they all move very well. And so I bought it. My husband, he doesn't really care. He's like, whatever. Sorry, get myself stood back upright. And also, so some things I picked up at the antique mall. I love this. It's like corduroy, and it has beads on it. It's definitely a pincushion. It has extra pins in there that somebody's used this as a pincushion. I loved it. And then also in that booth was another tomato pincushion with a strawberry on top. It's a vintage one. It has pins in there. So I bought that. I also bought these. I've shown you, I have a couple of these already, but look at these little oilers. And I definitely have in mind to stitch some of Not Forgotten Farm, her little people, like the little patriotic people and the Mr. and Mrs. Santa, and maybe finish them so that they can just go on top of the little oil can. It would be so cute. So cute. Also at that place, that same antique mall, there's one booth that I really love. She has sewing stuff occasionally. This is Waxer, and it has like little grooves that you can just run your thread through. And so instead of just being a clump of wax that you would have to do it, you don't have to touch it. You can just hold this and run your thread. So I thought that was pretty smart. It's a modern thing. I found a piece of quilt. So, I mean, look at the way this is packaged. Of course I had to buy it. It wasn't very expensive. And it's like a basket quilt, but it's a cutter quilt, obviously. And they cut a strip of the quilt and sold it. But I'm inspired by Katie. It's so tattered. She recycles things, upcycles it. And I am just stashing this because I think I could make some fun things out of this someday when I'm in my craft room. Moving things over. I bought this off of a historic, what is it called? It's a de-stash group for historic fabrics, like Civil War fabrics, and they have books and such. I do see Olivia from Pumpkin Hollow Quilts on there sometimes. I'm like, I see you, girl. And this is a Maggie Bonomi book. It was reasonably priced. It's A Day at Sunnybrook. I might have this book, but it was so reasonably priced. And Maggie's stuff on eBay can be pretty expensive if they're out of print. But I just thought I would go ahead and buy it. If I already have it, I'll just gift it to someone. I mean, look at how cute these are. So many fun projects in there. So I bought that. And that same lady had these. She had a couple of these pin cushions. I was dying when I saw this. I could not claim it fast enough. Just the little shaker box alone would have been probably more than what she was asking for. So I bought that. Again, on that same historic de-stash page, I bought a quilt kit. Actually, it's 2 kits. And it is this pattern and this pattern. So the bottom is the background is a flannel, and then it's wool applique on top. And this is applique, and it is 3 sisters. Look at this layout. This book, this is 2013, May, June. Okay, so if you do like some quilts, let me show you a couple in here that I was like, oh my gosh. So they have, this is the Japanese designer Reiko, what's her name? Reiko, let's see. Washizawa House. I think she is a designer. But there are just, this is not hers. This is Yokosawa, Sawada. Somebody did a blackbird. This is out of the When the Cold Wind Blows book. And then there's a whole section on Patriotic. This woman, I think they just featured her house, and look at all of the, oh my gosh. She has a lot of Minnick and Simpson in here. Hooked rugs. Oh my gosh. Like here's a hooked rug, that whale hooked rug at the top. Some of these pillows down here. Man, life goals. And then look at this one. This is a fantastic book. Like for me, to buy a magazine, if I'm just going to buy one, look at this one. Log Cabin Baskets. If I buy a book, I have to be willing to do 2 of the projects out of there. That's kind of my... And this one, there's several in here I would do. Wow. Okay, so I bought this kit. And here is the wool and flannel. And look at this. It's cross stitch. Now, the designer is someone, I don't know the name. And I pulled out the salvage. Let's see if I can find for you, because you're probably going to ask me. But it's a flannel. It's not a regular cotton. It is. Dun, 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 hold on. Faye Burgos, Burgos for Marcus Fabrics. I have no idea when this was made, or if you can even find anything like this. But look at that. Friends and family, so darn cute. And then the wool is luscious. The wool is so pretty. That's pretty good right there. It's very worn. Very good. The fabric kit is, there's 3 sisters. I think this line might all be 3 sisters, but look at this. With the bird on it. It sort of reminds me of a laundry basket, which is why I like 3 sisters. They're sort of similar. And the fabrics are just absolutely right up my alley. So that was a find. I ordered a couple of NPIs that I needed to refill, a black and a white. And I also got this thread white and blue from Hands On Design. These little square designs, I have a couple of them. I love them and have to have the confidence to stitch them and finish them. And then from Dying to Stitch in their club, I don't remember the name of the club. This came in the mail maybe last week. Very, very pretty. Look at the colors in here. Oh, that is a fantastic club. The last thing for purchases is this pattern. Okay, so I'm a huge fan of Veronique and Ginge. She is, and no, I don't know if I said that right. She's a French designer. I saw this and I ordered it. It came from Korea. And I'm like, that's kind of weird. I got it in the mail. It's clearly not from the original company. It's not a magazine quality print. So I contacted the person. I'm like, hey, and they said on their ad, on the eBay description, that it was reprint. I said, reprint does not mean copy. It means that the original person had another run. This looks like a copyright violation. They wrote back and said, no, I have permission, blah, blah, blah. And reach out to them. So I'm going to, because it's going to be hard, though. It's in French. We'll see. But I thought, I should have looked closer. It's my fault for not looking closer, quite frankly. All right, so now I told you that I was itching to do some fall stitching and some more sampler stitching. So in this next cycle, before I do another video, I'm going to focus on some finishes for a few projects. I'm probably going to work again on the cherry sampler, the Brenda Gervais one I just showed you with the girl with the red dress, the stocking, the Kathy Beck stocking, Quaker Street. I might not get all of them done. I'm going to try to finish at least one or two of those. And then I'm going to pull out Rose Wreath Sampler. So my goal is to finish that one before October when I go to the retreat, because I want Jill Rensel's studio to frame that one. It's so beautiful. I'll put this to the side. So what have I pulled out of potential stitches for this summer? I have pulled this out and said, I'm going to stitch this. Fat Cat Back cracks me up. Fat Back Cat. This is by the Victoria Sampler. Now, clearly, even if it's, usually they use silks. It looks like they use Weeks and General Arts. And you can make a frame that look like that. It's just buttons on the corners. Just get a square frame, paint it, and put buttons on the corners. So darn cute. Also, this one, Little Ramen Designs. Hallows Eve Greetings. I have some awesome fabric. It's out in my craft room, which is in boxes in the shop, so this might not get started until we move in. By the way, once we finish one bathroom, the power and the water are to the house, we can have a temporary occupancy to move in. I might have, yeah, because it's not a final yet, so Todd said we might finish my craft room first. I said we're not moving one thing in until we paint the whole thing, because I'm not moving stuff around to finish painting. We've got to get that done. Oh, this one is so cute. Misty Purcell Halloween Parade. Isn't that so sweet and simple? I bet you could stitch that in an afternoon. It's so darn cute. Now, I'm going to put this over here. Hold on, this on the bottom. All right, I claim this on Narissa from Narissa Stitching Studio. Actually, I've shown you this a zillion times. I've been going to start this forever. Narissa said she and some friends are going to stitch this. I've even got the silk pack. I'm not going to do the silk pack. I'm going to stitch it like I did G. Leger, just from the cover here with overdyed cottons. So I'm probably going to de-stash the silk pack for this. It's beautiful silk. And I think I got it from, is it Isabel from Reflet de Soie? Anyway, this is on my short list. I need to pick some fabric out and then grab some threads and get going on that. I think they're starting in August, so I have a little bit of time. I told her I'm piling on. And another one. Oh, I have 95% of the threads for this. This is Victorine Delacroix 1833 by the Sampler. Look at, so this one was stitched by Michelle at Cozy Egg Stitchery. Cozy Egg, is it Stitchery? I think so. This is so gorgeous. And I have the silks, most of the silks. I have a few I need to get still. But just this one, I might start that one in August. I just went through some of my stash and picked out some of these that I definitely am considering starting. I know. It feels like I'll finish 3 and I'll start 4, but that's okay. I'm loving my whips right now. Well, shoot. I'm dropping stuff everywhere. Hang on one moment while I organize my life. I don't know where this goes. I'll put it right there. Now, this one, I think this is out of print. I'm not sure. This was gifted to me from a friend. And it is, she sent it to me in a folder, which is really nice. It is A Most Noble Pursuit. This is a collaboration between multiple designers, and I long to stitch this. I love it. So I am probably going to start this one. What are they? Let me look at the color chart. I don't know. This one is probably going to be in DMC because you can do it in silk or DMC. Boy, I might just, I don't know, do an overdyes. That would break the bank to do it in silk. It's all MPI, I think. Yep. I don't know. I'll have to think about that one. Okay. I bought this one. I want to say it was in 2023. And Kathy usually does an update. So I love the folk arty feel of this. This is the Moons of 2022. And she has charted, and like you can do it for 2025 or whatever year she's on. Like she'll chart this and she'll put the moons in the order that they are for that year. And there are different moons. Like this is the wolf moon, the snow moon, the worm moon, pink moon, flower moon, strawberry moon. And I just need to see her website to see if she has like the 2026 one. Okay, this one I've been going to start for 100 years. And I saw somebody pick it up on Instagram and they're going to start it. I might do a conversion on this and darken the colors a little bit or deepen them. We'll see. This is Keep Me Sampler by Maura Blackburn. I love the composition, the big willow tree in the middle, the feathery border, the big house, all the things. This one I like because there's a fisherman on it. This is Designs from Pamela on Peace, and it says, "Thou wilt keep him in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on thee." A little bit different, and it's all blue. So that one's on my mind. Also this one, I have considered doing this one on a dark fabric. Frances Eden sampler. This is bigger than you think it is. When people are stitching this, I'm like, oh, that's bigger. For some reason, I imagined it would be kind of small, but I think it's quite a bit bigger than that. Super, also kind of folk art-ish. This is, I think I got this from the attic. What is the, I don't see this, how big it is. It doesn't tell me, unless I probably dig into the pattern itself. Also, I love this as soon as Annie produced it, the Hanes sampler. I would put this maybe on a meltier, like a little bit darker fabric maybe. It's very pretty on the light color too. I wonder what she used. Oh. I think there was a chart error, and I wrote myself a note. Annie Bees will post fix on Hanes sampler in blog. And then I wrote, I don't know, I wrote some notes of what she had said, but isn't this gorgeous? So, so pretty. This one I've had in my stash for a really long time would be a blast to stitch. Village Square Sampler by Samplers Remembered. Why do I not like small things? I do like them. I just like big things better. Keziah Campbell by Needle Made Designs. This is not a reproduction. This is an original design. I'm sorry. This is very, very glary. Let me take it out. bought this from the attic, and I really, really like this. I love the size of it and the composition. 139 by 179. That's sweet. I need to live to 1,000. John Foster, 1885. I think you can get this from 1884 Stitchery. I bought this from somebody. I don't know what, I owned it before then. Historic Stitches. My friend, oh, what's her name? Canopied Stitches. Deborah from Canopied Stitches. She stitched that. Gorgeous. And then Lori Holt was stitching this. She's in the middle of this whip. I had this out to work on it, to start it, and I have it. But I do love the Beatitudes. Right out of the Bible. Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven, etc., etc. It's such a sweet sampler. This is what I did have a hankering for some Christmas, and I am going to start this one. I showed you this in the last video. This was in Kitten Stitcher's Advent box from last year. And I might even do the needle book too. Look at how sweet that is. Or that might be an ornament. Looks probably like an ornament. Probably Kimberly Nugent will, I can't speak for her, but I would imagine she'll probably release it this year. Usually it's a year later. And I was waiting for a couple of threads, which I now have. And I think I have another one in a stash somewhere. And I'm going to stitch it on this pinky coral fabric, which should be kind of fun. And then the last one, this was a gift from Teresa. I think I ordered a pattern and another Marjorie Massey. This would be sweet, wouldn't it? This would be sweet with, let's see, how big is this? I'm going to guess this is 105 by 169. So a big chunky frame around something like that. And you could switch up your fabric or your colors. I think there's just like probably 3 or 4 colors on this. Yeah, I think you just pick your own colors. A red, a green, maybe a white, and a black. Is that black? Yeah. Or whatever you want to do. Ken Stitcher distributes Marjorie Massey's patterns. All right, so that's the goodness I have. I have a giveaway. I have 2 charts for you. This one, I love Sudbury. I have a hard time parting with this one, but it's Shaker Sampler, Donna Vermillion, Giampa for Sudbury House. Look at how sweet this is. The bees, the beehive, the girls, the man, the woman, so sweet. So if you would like this one, please write Shaker in your comments somewhere. I'll be interested to see how you work in that in your comments. And then here's another one. I wish this picture was better, and I'm also tempted to keep this one because I do love Praiseworthy Stitches also. I had started this and I had the wrong fabric and I was going to restart it, but this does have a little bit of highlighting on the pattern also, so don't be surprised if you went in and get that. This is Sunflower Bead Garden Sampler. Look at how sweet that is with all of those sunflowers on it. Wouldn't that be pretty on a blue fabric? And it says, how doth the busy little bee improve each shining hour and gather honey all the day from every opening flower. And it says, wrought by me in the year of our Lord. On the bottom it has alphabet. Ooh, I do love this. Okay. If you would like this one, please write sunflower in your answer. What do I have coming up? I have a birthday party for some friends later at the end of the month. I'm going to enter my autumn in Lazy Bear Mountain into the state fair. So I got that all put together, and my mom's going to take it because the time you drop off your entry is when we'll be at our family reunion in August. And then the fair goes on the end of August through Labor Day, I think. And then I pick it up right after that. I have a family reunion in August, and so life's just chugging along. I will stick some videos of some pictures of when we went to Crater Lake and Diamond Lake at the end of the video here if you want to watch. Otherwise, I will see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Sitting on the patio, enjoying that little bit of rest and relaxation. Salt Creek Falls. What a gorgeous day.